I've previously applied some gesso to the watercolour paper and I've allowed it to dry naturally. I'm now applying some pale blue. You could use cerulean. With my size 10 brush wet into wet, I'm also adding a little bit of teal there and Prussian blue at the top, wet in wet on the sea area, and I'm also adding a little bit of ultramarine. So you could actually dig out lots of different blues and experiment and paint wet in wet the sea area. You can see already the lovely texture on the water there on the sea area from the paper because of the gesso. One thing that's great about gesso as well, if you make a mistake, it's easier to lift off the paint as well. So I've added some Paynes grey here with the Prussian blue, painting wet into wet. And I'm tilting my painting now using my pipette and some clean water and just drizzling it on to the surface of the painting there, onto the sea area, letting everything run down to create some lovely marks. I've purposely not wet the land area so the paint does not run onto that part there, so you've got a little bit of control. I'm not sure if Michael Morgan did this, but I'm putting some cling film saran wrap onto the wet surface and sort of pulling it either way to create sort of lines so that when it's dry, and I'll dry this naturally, you get some wonderful textured marks. And I'm painting the sky area with some pale blue, wet into wet, and I'm going to let my painting dry naturally. Once it's dry, you can peel off the cling film. Look at all those wonderful textured marks. I really love the effect of cling film and also the effect of the gesso as well. So I'm going to paint the distant hills here. I'm using a mixture of burnt umber and green apatite genuine. If you don't have those colours, you could use burnt sienna and sap green, or any green will do. I'm painting this wet on dry with my size 10 brush and working my way down to the water's edge. I'm using a little bit of yellow here with some Prussian blue, working wet on dry, and I've dropped in some Quinacridone gold. You could use raw sienna for that as well. But what I love about this palette here is I can mix up all sorts of different colours but create colour harmony by using some of these blues and some of these yellows here, just trying to keep them all connected. Still using my size 10 brush, just working my way down the painting here. What I'm doing now is I'm just using my paper towel, lifting off some of the paint that ran down a little bit, so to create a sort of base colour for those cliffs there. And I'm working wet on dry here with a little bit of Prussian blue, Paynes grey, and then I'll use a little bit of Prussian, maybe a bit of ultramarine, some of the cerulean, working my way up to the top of the sea area there, just to create some wonderful sort of slightly darker tonal values. I'm painting the cliffs here with some burnt umber, just wetting the surface, and now I'm using a plastic store card cut up, something I love to do. Not quite sure that Michael Morgan actually did this technique. I'm sure he used lots of different things though to create his wonderful textures he has and his beautiful landscapes. But I'm actually painting this creamy colour straight from the tube on to the damp surface here with the plastic card, creating sort of dark and light tonal values, creating texture as well, you know, using the side of the card, printing with it, scratching and scraping, and just having lots and lots of fun. I almost feel I'm sculpting the rocks here with the plastic card. And I'm using mostly the Paynes grey, the burnt umber, but you can add sort of violets and just different colours, some of the Prussian blue, even some of the greens as well, just to create this lovely texture on the cliffs and the rocks. I'm just softening some of the damp edges here with my size 10 brush with some clean water. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift off some of this dark colour just so I've got a nice soft edge to apply my white gouache with later. So I'm just dabbing here with the paper towel, and now I'm going to allow my painting to dry. Once the painting is dry, I'm using Watercolour Ground here by Daniel Smith. Previously I used Gesso to apply to the surface of most of the painting. But if you make a mistake in watercolour, the watercolour ground is really great, not only for creating textures, but for covering up mistakes. And here I felt the rocks weren't quite in the right place. So what I'm doing is I'm kind of just painting over the top, covering up these rocks here, and once it's dry it allows me to paint watercolour over the top, and you don't see any of those rocks underneath, and it's a really nice surface to apply your watercolour paint to, and it also creates some wonderful textures. So I'm going to allow my painting to dry again, and I'm actually using some white gouache, but you could use white watercolour or white acrylics. I'm using my size 4 round brush, and I'm just applying wet on dry the white gouache, which is really straight from the tube. I've added a tiny bit of water to it, and I'm using the belly of the brush, so not the tip of the brush, the side and the belly of the brush, to apply this white gouache wet on dry, so you create texture, as you can see I'm doing right now, and it gives a little bit of sparkle to the waves in the water there. And I'm going to work my way along, creating this lovely texture and the waves crashing against the rocks. I'm using the card again and tapping it into the white gouache and then tapping it on to the watercolour painting, just to create some lovely white light marks there, and also brushing it up against the rocks there. And if you don't like something, wipe it off with your paper towel as well. So I'm just working my way along here on some of the dry area of the painting there, and just tapping in some lovely light white highlights. So the area that I covered up with the watercolour ground, I'm now painting wet on dry with some green Apatite genuine and a touch of yellow here, and a little bit to the burnt umber. And I'm now painting in with my plastic card some of the darks on those rocks there, just repositioning them there, and using a little bit of Paynes grey and burnt umber. I must say I'm quite pleased with that. I'm just using my size 4 brush, using some Ultramarine and Prussian blue, and just painting it below the rocks here and softening as well with some clean water. So I've decided to add a few more dark marks to the C area as well, using my size 4 brush. The white paint isn't exactly dry, so if you're worried about that, you could allow your painting to dry and apply some more blues and darker blue tonal values to your C area. When I look at Michael Morgan's work, there is so much texture, so many marks, and where he lifts off and creates all this yummy texture. So I'm actually using the plastic card here just to lift off some of the paint to create the look of the waves in the sea area there. And you can actually sort of see some of the lighter colours underneath as well. I'm also using the plastic card again to create more texture, to lift off, to create some more lighter areas on the rocks here as well. And then you can allow your painting to dry again. Once it's dry, I'm just building up, painting some more darks here, Paynes grey with my plastic card. But I'm also going to use the white gouache to paint some highlights, especially on these distant rocks here. Using the plastic card, I'm just dipping the card into the white gouache, just the corner of the card, just to paint these little light highlights. It's really effective. It just creates this more textures, more details. There's so much in this picture. I just love this photograph because of the sea mainly, but also the land as well. It's just very atmospheric and it's full of wonderful textures as well. And I'm just again applying some of the white gouache with the plastic card, printing it onto the surface, mainly on the sea area and just below the rocks. So therapeutic applying that lovely white gouache, and I thought maybe it's a good time for me to finish my painting, so I thought I'll give it a little spatter with the white with my size 2 brush. I've just watered down the gouache slightly so it enables me to spatter more easily. Just make sure that you cover the sky area and anywhere else that you might have surrounding your painting that could be spoilt by the white gouache. So make sure you cover vital things up. So I'm removing the washi tape there to reveal a lovely white border, and it gives me time to see if I need to do any more to my painting, but I think I'll leave it there for now. I really hope you enjoyed that tutorial as much as I enjoyed painting it. I tried to combine a little bit of my techniques as well as the techniques, I hope the techniques of Michael Morgan, but who doesn't love a seascape? I mean, it's just so, I just love it. I love the colours. I get a lot of questions about which is my favourite, whether it's gesso or the watercolour ground. Maybe because I've used gesso a lot longer and I've used it with acrylic inks in a dilute way as I would in watercolour with collage. So gesso kind of wins it for me, but I may change my mind. I've been known to change my mind, but I quite like the fact that gesso's got a little bit of a sheen on there, and I quite like that as well. But they're both great, so whichever one you can get your hands on, have a little go. If you have any questions about this tutorial, please put them in the comments section below. I would love to hear from you, and I'll try and get back to you as soon as I can. And if you have any suggestions about maybe future tutorials in the Michael Morgan style or any other tutorials, please also put those in the comments section below, and I'll see what I can do. Can't promise, but you never know. And if you don't want to miss any of my future tutorials, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. You will get updates of my latest videos. Thank you so much for watching. Happy painting. Bye for now.